Tonight, thousands of homes devastated, many more spared as the Brisbane River peaks below predictions. A promise to overcome the odds, but the pressure and pain tells on the Premier.
We are Queenslanders. We're the people that they breed tough north of the border. We're the ones that they knock down and we get up again.
The tugboat captain with nerves of steel who saved the Gateway Bridge. And the Bremer River recedes at Ipswich, raw evidence of the flood's destruction.
This is 7 News with Rod Young and Kay Mcgrath.
Well, good evening. A Durack man who was sucked into a stormwater drain has become Brisbane's first death from the floods. He's the 15th confirmed death of this emergency. 61 people are still missing. More than 11,000 homes have been damaged in Brisbane alone, and 4,000 Queenslanders are in evacuation centres. Around 120,000 homes remain without power. We'll go straight to Kay Mcgrath at Kangaroo Point. And Kay, you've been watching a drama unfold right in front of you there.
It was incredible, Rod. Just minutes ago, the river dragged one of these yachts behind me right off its anchor, and the skipper was still on board. For a moment, it looked like the vessel would simply float away, as so many have, but all of a sudden, it started to list dangerously and then sink. There was a frantic effort by the owner to save the boat, but he had no hope at all. And then, of course, it became a rescue operation. We think that there were 2 people on board, but water police and boaties nearby launched rapidly into action. The last that we saw, they were swimming for their lives. Well, Peter Doherty was in the 7 News helicopter. Peter, can you tell us what you could see from up there?
Okay, look, a complete drama, as you said, in front of you. Then that boat got washed further downstream. We believe those people were saved thanks to the men on board this Queensland Police boat. They were able to retrieve the men, get them on board. They were also able to restrain a tinny that had sunk, and they towed it for about 2 kilometres, or they drifted with the Brisbane River. Then they bailed the water out and put life jackets on those rescued men, and they've now left under their own steam further down here near the New Farm Park. So yet again, another dramatic rescue, more lives saved as you know, the River City battles the river, which is now completely in the city. Kay?
Some wonderful work there by our police force and emergency workers. Thanks, Peter Doherty and the 7 News chopper. Well, that capped a day of drama on the Brisbane River, which peaked early this morning at 4.46 metres. Now, that's below the level of the 74 flood. Just after the peak, a potential disaster was averted. Tugboat captain Doug Hislop stopped a massive piece of the New Farm Riverwalk from slamming into and potentially bringing down the Gateway Bridge.
200 metres long and weighing about 1,000 tonnes, the biggest piece of debris in the Brisbane River. After days of relentless pounding by the surging water, the 800-metre Riverwalk started coming apart last night.
Well, the path of destruction from this flood stretches through some of southeast Queensland's most recognisable areas. The wall of water wound its way through Moggill before swamping low-lying areas of Ipswich, leaving Goodna inundated. Suburbs including Wacol and Darra went under before the flood swept through more of Brisbane's west. Mount Ommaney and Jindalee were hard hit, as was a stretch housing some of the city's most expensive homes, Chelmer, Indooroopilly and Tennyson. As in 1974, some of the worst damage occurred in Rocklea, with entire streets going under. Archerfield, Fairfield and St Lucia were battered before the floodwaters hit Brisbane CBD. Suburbs including West End, Milton, Teneriffe and Holland Park suffered terribly, as did Newstead, Albion and Hamilton. Portside areas of Hemmant and Pinkenbar were also swamped as this huge volume of water slowly makes its way into Moreton Bay. Well, it's been a soul-destroying day for tens of thousands of Brisbane residents as floodwaters swamped properties across the city. But there was also relief for many locals when the levels peaked just centimetres from their homes.
At daybreak, the scale of Brisbane's flood crisis dawned on inner city residents as houses were engulfed and the only way to get around some neighbourhoods was to float.
Indeed, and for some homeowners in the flood zone, just metres proved the difference between heartache and joy. In one Yeronga street, homes were swamped while neighbouring properties were left untouched.
Suburbs in Brisbane's south and west, underwater, it's overwhelming.
Never seen this amount of water anywhere, so it's pretty scary, really.
Well, sadly, many flood victims have been through this all before. They're reliving the pain of the 1974 flood all over again. Talitha Cummins joins us now again live from Fairfield and is with one of those people.
Thanks, Kay. I'm here with Lana Andrews tonight. Lana, you've been through this before. Did you ever imagine this could happen twice in your lifetime?
Not really, because the Wivenhoe Dam was built after the 74 floods and it went up to our ceiling. And I thought, well, if another one ever did come, that we wouldn't get it as bad. But I never expected really to happen in a lifetime.
Thank you very much. We wish you all the best with your treatment, with your clean-up. Thank you. And back to you, Kay.
We certainly do wish her all the best. Thank you, Talitha. Well, now around 1,000 people remain in the evacuation centres around Brisbane. Now, reporter Pippa Gardner joins us from the evacuation centre at the RNA Showgrounds. And Pippa, I believe the Prime Minister is there.
Yes, Prime Minister Julia Gillard joins me now. Anna Bligh has described this crisis as post-war reconstruction. Prime Minister Julia Gillard, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard having a first-hand look there at the RNA evacuation centre. Now, while large parts of Ipswich are still underwater, some residents there have already begun cleaning up. Locals are rallying together to get back on their feet.
An Ipswich home destroyed. For thousands of residents, this is how their day began.
Total destruction. Yeah. I don't know what to do next.
Well, as we watch the city of Ipswich fighting back from this devastating flood, Brisbane's Lord Mayor Campbell Newman has just come back to join me here at Kangaroo Point Cliffs. And Lord Mayor, with the levels dropping, how long do you think it will be before some of these people can get back into their homes?
Well, some people will be going back as we speak, flying over in your chopper this afternoon, the Centenary suburbs. Clearly, people are able to access homes. So that's...
We'll make sure that message gets through during the course of this evening and into tomorrow. Lord Mayor, thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Kate.
And if anybody wants to help, as the Lord Mayor says, you can get onto the website. But we'll cross back to Rod in the studio now.
Thanks indeed, Kay. Well, we've got John with some details on another potential weather threat. John, surely not.
Well, it's the last thing we want to hear, Rod, but we've been watching a potential cyclone in the Coral Sea. There's also two other existing systems on the go as well. Now, this is the latest. Cyclone Vince is off the West Australian coast, as well as off the Queensland coast. We've got Cyclone Vania near Vanuatu. Now, both of these systems are posing no threat to Queensland. What we are watching is a developing tropical low off the far north tip of the state. Now, there's a moderate chance of it developing into a cyclone tomorrow, a high chance for Saturday, and a low chance back on Sunday. If it does develop, the system looks like it will continue to move east away from the coast, which means it should have little impact on Queensland. So rest easy for now. There's no immediate threat. And also the forecast for southeast Queensland is still on our side. Just a shower or two tomorrow, mostly fine. The weekend will be mostly fine as well, and a few showers early next week, Ron.
Thanks, John. See you again soon. Well, ahead, our special coverage of Brisbane's flood crisis continues with the latest developments live from the Lord Mayor. Also, the big picture on how all this will affect essential services. And Pat Welch checks on damage at Suncorp Stadium.